So you're thinking about filing a claim, but you want to know how to win as fast as humanly possible. Stick around because that's going to be the topic of today's video. But first, I'm Mark. I'm a disabled veteran, like many of you watching, and it took me about 10 years and I lost close to $100,000 in unrealized benefits to get everything I deserved. And I make these videos in the hopes that it will educate you, give you value, and help you win your claims for free. But if you can't win for free because you can't educate or for whatever reason, I run a company called veterannexus.org. You can sign up, talk to me and someone on my team. It's the place where veterans go to get what they deserve, the service they deserve, and win their claims. So if we can't remove that free part from you winning your claim, we'll at least remove some of the time and a lot of the pain, which is part of today's topic. How do you make things go faster, right? So let's dive into that. We've all heard the urban legends. Veterans talk around the water cooler, smoke pit, whatever. You know, you're at college, you talk to vets. You're at work, you talk to vets. Someone knows someone who won their claim in like a week. And everyone wants to know, how do I do that? Well, I'm going to break this video down to two portions because some of those urban legends happen to be true. I've been on a team where we've collectively helped close to 10,000 veterans. We've educated them, and we've seen quite a few people win. And yeah, there are some of those stories that are in fact true. So we're going to talk about that. But here's the bad news. Many of us will not fall into that category, even if everything's right, because there is a roulette, casino chance thing going on, and people don't like it when I say that. And if you don't know what that is, I made a video about it. Go watch it, scroll up in my channel and see the Raider Roulette video where I explain that concept. And it's just my opinion. None of this is legal advice. I'm not a lawyer or an attorney, all right? I'm just speaking from my experience. So take anything anybody tells you with a grain of salt and do your own research. So we'll talk about the urban legends and then how it applies to you, because we can't make our claims go faster, but we can sure as hell make it take longer. That sounds confusing, but I'll explain that again when it's time. But first, let's go to the urban legends. I have two of them to share with you that happen to be true, that I have experienced personally talking to veterans. And the first guy had won his claim in 3 days. So what did this veteran do right? Did he have the Midas touch? Was he charmed? What did he do? Who did he bribe? He didn't bribe anybody. He was going to the hospital for something like 40 years. This guy was a Vietnam veteran, so that's the first thing you have to take away from this. He's an old timer. And he'd been suffering for a long time with the condition he was going to claim. And since he had gone to the hospital for a long time and was complaining, he had a long paper trail that wasn't confusing. It was very clear what this veteran was dealing with. And so when this veteran, what he said was, when he submitted his claim and got a decision, it was a 3-day span from submission to decision. And it was like, wow, that I've never seen a situation that fast. I mean, someone knows an 18-hour, 24-hour turnaround time. I haven't seen it, but 3 days was the fastest I've ever seen. You're probably watching this video. You know who you are. I'm not going to say your name. That was the first guy. So the thing to take away there was they were going to the hospital and complaining, and it was very clear. So whoever was looking at his claim probably opened it up and said, okay, this is a no-brainer. Talk about the second guy. This guy was young, opposite side of the spectrum. Right? He's like in his early 20s, just got out of the military. He had gotten out, based on what he was saying, from a medical discharge. It wasn't a discharge. He was kind of like me, where I decided to get out because of my back, but I wasn't medically discharged, if that makes sense. So this veteran won their claim because it was set up cleanly. I believe that's what happened with him, because he told me when he submitted his claim, it took him 5 days from submission to decision. And just hearing the veteran's story and knowing how he set things up, I was like, okay, wow, it sounds like it's pretty good. Probably that's what happened, was everything was quote unquote dress right. It was easy to look at it and make sense of what the veteran was trying to say to the VA Raider. And that's the takeaway there, is you don't want to do things that slow your claim down. You want to do things that make it go faster. And one of those things you can do is just be organized when you submit your stuff. The guy probably had as few documents as he could have submitted with the claim. Evidence was already set up correctly. There's a story to back everything up, and it probably looked clean. So when his representative was looking at his claim package, it was easy to find, and it was labeled right. It's just something like that could be the difference between winning your claim and losing your claim. And I can't tell you what a rater's job is day to day, but I can tell you what a human is. Humans are lazy, and if you make things easy for them, they tend to like you, and then they'll give you what you deserve. All of you work a job, you know that's true, right? They're not supposed to be emotionally biased towards us, but take every advantage you can get. That's what this veteran did, I believe. Now, here's the thing. Some of you watching fall into this category of, I'm old vet, I've been complaining for a long time, or hey, I've done that. I made things as organized as I felt I could make it. Well, there's still an element of chance. And if you've watched the Raider Roulette video, you know that there is something of a casino here where there's a dice roll, a spin of the wheel, and some vets just get lucky, right? Because someone watching this is going to say to themselves, man, I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I've been dealing with my, X condition for 40 years, and I've been going to the hospital. Still took me 5 months to win my claim or lose it, whichever one, right? That's horrible because you wait the same time and then sometimes you lose. A lot of times you lose. Well, there you go. There's that Raider Roulette / chance thing going on there where the majority of us still wait, but the goal here is you don't wait any longer than you have to. So same thing with the young guy. Well, you can set up your claim as perfectly as you can. It will still take 5 months. The VA still might make a mistake and ask your private doctor for a release of information. Send you that form that tells you, hey, can you give us your doctor's address? Can you give us their contact information? Do you give us permission to ask this doctor for your records? And you're like, I submitted my records. Why do you need that thing? Is what it is. The VA representatives are human. They make mistakes. So there is some chance going on here. So let's move on to how does this apply to you? Well, we just talked about it. Go to the hospital. That's the first thing. If you want things to go fast as possible, one thing you could be doing is just going to the hospital and complaining about the thing you're trying to complain. And not just complaining however you want, but you should be educated and understand, okay, well, what's my rating? I should complain like that. That's the first thing. And if it's a secondary, are you asking your doctor if your new condition is being caused by your service-connected condition? How do your records look? Does it look like that, or does it just look like you're complaining about this new thing? That's not a deal breaker, but you want to maximize your hospital visits. And I'm not telling you to lie. I'm just telling you to ask them to make things as accurate as possible for you, so when you submit that claim, it's clear in your records. Second thing you can do is not jam all 1,500 pages of your VA medical records in your claim thinking that's going to be a good thing. It's not. They're already sifting through a needle in a haystack, and you're just dumping more hay onto that haystack and making their jobs more miserable. You want to set up your claim as cleanly as possible. You probably want to label things correctly, easy to find. Look, I've been in my own claims file. I worked with an agent a number of years ago that showed me what was in my folder, and it was horrendous. It had everything from every claim I ever submitted all in one folder, and I was like, how did they find anything in here? This has stuff from like a decade ago, and even if you use the Control F function to find something, there'll be doubles, right? How do they know what to look for? And if some of you old timers, if you submitted a lot of claims, you're probably in the same boat as I am. Now, I hope they change that somehow. I don't know how they're going to fix that. I hope they did. But that said, you want to label things clearly, because if you've submitted something that's very helpful, they still need to find it. And your personal statement has to be on point if you're submitting one, and I would reference the documents I submit in that statement. I would just try to condense everything as low as possible so I'm not dumping more stuff that's useless into my claim. And I would label everything cleanly, right, to give myself the highest chance. Because again, if I submit everything that is just very helpful to my claim, but it's labeled like a hash, like LBCDF150, like that doesn't tell the rater anything. They're going to get lost just looking at that thing. That's a very bad naming convention for my evidence. You don't want to do that, in my opinion, because that's when they're going to add months to your claim. It's like, I don't know what this is. I'm going to ask the veteran if I can ask their doctor, private doctor, for the evidence, and that's going to always add 1 month, 2 months, 3 months longer if your doctor, who's private, is not going to respond to what the VA is communicating to them. It's a nightmare. So make sure you make everything as clean as you can and go from there. So that's how you win your claim as fast as possible. And look, the majority of us are still going to wait that 5-month average, but at least it's not going to be 7, 8, 9, because that's when things start to hurt, when it takes about a year and you don't even know if you're going to win. That's such a painful moment. We've all been there. Many of us have. I know I have, and it sucked. So I'm trying to help you avoid that situation. So if you want to win your claim as fast as possible, start going to the hospital and start thinking about how you're going to submit your claim and make it as clean as you can. Again, that is legal advice. That is literally my opinion for educational purposes from my experience. So if you found that useful and helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel and leave comments in the comments box. I want to hear what you have to say, if this sucks, if it's good, what else you want me to talk about, because the last secret here is there are no secrets. This is all common knowledge. Once you know everything, everything's the same, basically. So it's just about execution and how well you can do that, how much time you have to learn, right? There's all kinds of levers that you can pull there. But if you're the type that can't educate yourself because you don't have the time, the willpower, whatever, go seek some help. And my company is one of those places you can get that, veterannexus.org, or not, do it yourself. It's a good day when a veteran wins for free. But with that, I will see you all in the next video, and I hope that you've had a great week. Take care.